as you look at the state of things at Fortnum Mason since the lockdown measures were brought into place in the spring and now once again in lockdown Mark 2, how has the business fared?
Well, during lockdown 1 and lockdown 2, we started to see a slow but steady recovery in retail sales in the physical stores, but only to a level where we got to 50% of last year's performance. But it was encouraging and it was rebuilding, and I think the business had confidence that that momentum would carry forward and we would head towards a half-decent festive season. But then, of course, lockdown 2 occurred, and we're right back to square one. So I think it's going to be a very challenging 4 or 5 weeks ahead in that all-important rush to Christmas to see whether consumers do, burst back into the high street as fast as we need them to in order to have a successful trading month.
And Ewan, tell us about your online experience. I mean, you spent years running the online offering at Fortnum Mason, even before becoming CEO, when, of course, you've overseen it from that position as well. How much of a pickup have you seen in online spend? And anecdotally, we've heard about people, spending more online early for the holiday season. Has that become your experience already?
Oh, completely. I mean, online sales have been phenomenal. We saw in the peak of lockdown 1, sales go up to between 300% and 400% year over year, which was quite staggering. And interestingly, winning lots of new customers to the brand, which was incredibly encouraging. More recent sales continue to be very, very strong. And I think one of the particular issues that both Fortnum's and other retailers will have quite quickly now is that there'll be a limit to the capacity of the number of deliveries that we can actually take. And interestingly, talking to government ministers who often think that, well, if you can't get the business in the physical stores, you can pick up the business digitally. And of course, to some degree, that's true in retail. But there will come a point when the distribution system and the last mile delivery service simply will be at complete capacity here in the UK. And therefore, we've been encouraging our customers to order earlier at fortnummason.com, and they've been doing so. So I can report, extraordinary levels of growth in online sales, which clearly, in the mix is really helpful to the business. But we do need people to return to the physical stores, and I hope that the government messaging, that we're all waiting today to hear, which about tier systems across England, will be sufficiently upbeat to actively encourage consumers to go out and shop. And an important part of that message is about restaurants. Restaurants today represent 25% of Fortnum & Mason's business. They're an integral part about the way that we go out to shop. No longer do we simply go out to buy stuff, but we actually want to go and meet people and have a moment of creativity by going into a restaurant or a bar and enjoying the festive season. And I think, with all the sensible controls that are in place, I believe that's important and that can happen. But we have to hear from the Prime Minister or the Health Secretary today to see whether that's possible.
Yes, I understand the Prime Minister is going to be making an address later, so we'll listen for that. You, historically, as a business, have done well from tourism. Clearly, tourism has not been what it was in 2020 in London. Ewan, how have you managed to leverage the relationship with the local community or indeed with the UK customer base to try and replace some of that tourism revenue?
Well, of course, Fortnum's has been in business since 1707, and we were always have been, and I guess always will be, that shop to the domestic consumer. One of the strategies in my 9 years in the business has been about bringing back, being more relevant to more people more often, bringing back the relationship to the domestic consumer. So during lockdown, that really paid off. We saw more people than ever before online shopping our fresh meat, our cheeses, our wines. And, that was an encouraging experience during lockdown. So during this important Christmas period, then I think we will fare rather well.